A corporation once became so powerful, it convinced the world's most powerful government to help remove a foreign president. Not an oil company, not a weapons manufacturer, not a tech giant. A fruit company. That sounds impossible. Until you realize the bananas were never the real business. The real business was control. Control over the land, the railroads, the ports, the economy. Eventually, entire governments depended on this company to survive, and when one president threatened that system, he didn't just lose an argument, he lost his country. This is the story of the United Fruit Company and how a business came dangerously close to becoming more powerful than the governments it operated inside. By the late 1800s, Americans couldn't get enough bananas. Demand exploded. Entrepreneurs rushed into Central America, convinced they had discovered the perfect business. Grow bananas, ship them north, make millions. Most companies saw fruit. United Fruit saw something else. If you only owned plantations, someone else controlled transportation. If someone else controlled transportation, they controlled your profits. So United Fruit didn't stop at farming. It bought the railroads, then the ports, then the ships. One by one, every step between the jungle and an American grocery store fell under its control. The company wasn't selling bananas. It was building a system no competitor could escape. As the years passed, that system kept growing. More land, more railroads, more ports, more influence. In several Central American countries, United Fruit became one of the largest landowners, one of the biggest employers. Its investments created jobs. Its railroads connected cities. Its exports generated national income. On paper, it looked like a successful corporation. In reality, governments were becoming dependent on it. When your biggest employer threatens to leave, political decisions stop being simple. The line between economic power and political power began to disappear. People would later give these nations a nickname, banana republics. Not because they produced bananas, but because one export and one corporation could shape an entire country's future. Then, someone finally pushed back. In Guatemala, President Jacobo Arbenz believed huge amounts of farmland sat unused, while thousands of families had no land at all. His solution was land reform. Unused land could be purchased by the government, compensated according to declared tax values, and redistributed to farmers. To many Guatemalans, it promised opportunity. To United Fruit, it threatened the foundation of everything the company had built. For the first time, its control over land wasn't guaranteed. And if Guatemala succeeded, other countries might follow. The company couldn't afford that. But United Fruit understood something important. Winning inside Guatemala wasn't enough. The real decision would be made thousands of miles away. Washington. This was the Cold War. American leaders feared communist influence spreading across Latin America. United Fruit argued that Guatemala's reforms weren't simply economic. They were evidence of communist expansion. Whether that claim reflected reality remains debated by historians. But it accomplished something crucial. It got Washington's attention, and once the world's most powerful government became involved, the conflict stopped being about farmland. In 1954, the CIA launched a covert operation against Guatemala. Psychological warfare, propaganda, support for opposition forces, military pressure. President Arbenz resigned. A new government took power. United Fruit's immediate interests were largely protected. Historians continue to debate how much of the operation was driven by Cold War strategy versus corporate influence, but one fact remains difficult to ignore. A private corporation had helped shape the foreign policy priorities of a global superpower. That is an extraordinary amount of influence. The United Fruit Company eventually declined. Its name changed, its dominance faded, but the system it revealed never disappeared. Because this story was never really about bananas, it was about a question that still matters today. What happens when a corporation becomes so essential that governments begin protecting the company instead of controlling it? Power rarely announces itself. It doesn't always wear a crown or command an army. Sometimes it signs contracts, builds railroads, controls supply chains, and quietly becomes too important to challenge. History remembers the fruit. The real story was always about power.